few years ago, I had a conversation that stuck with me. A friend, let's call him Arav, was in a great job. Smart guy, lived in London, made good money. But there was this quiet pain in his eyes. You know that feeling when someone's smiling, but it's not real? Yeah, that's the one. I asked Arav, what would you do if fear was not in the way? He paused, looked away, up and down, left and right, and said, almost like he was confessing to me, I would start a painting studio, Rachit. Somewhere small, maybe in Portugal, maybe in Madrid. I have always wanted to paint, but I can't. My family worked too hard to get here, and I've always been the dependable one. That sentence hit me like a nuclear bomb. I will quote, I can't disappoint the version of me everyone expects, unquote. And the truth is, a lot of us are Arav in some way or the other. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a life decision that purely was for you? Not to impress, not to meet expectations, not to avoid disappointing someone, but just because it made your soul lighter. For most of us, it has probably been a while. We are living stories written by other people. Look, this is not just philosophical. There is research behind this. Psychologist James Marcia coined the term identity foreclosure. It is when you commit to a path, a job, a belief, a life, without exploring alternatives. Most people do this to gain approval or security or simply to not rock the boat. They're just fine where they are. The older we get, the more we double down on these choices. Not because they are right, but because changing now would feel like admitting we were wrong all the time. And the people around us, family, friends, culture, society, they do mean well. But sometimes their love comes with conditions, and sometimes their fears are disguised as advice. Let me give you an example. Did you know that Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first big TV job in Baltimore? They told her she was unfit for television. Imagine if she had accepted that. Imagine if she had said, maybe this is just how life is. Maybe I'm not cut out for more. Instead, she trusted the voice inside. The one that was whispering, this is not the end. That's the thing, most successful people, not that they didn't fall or they didn't fail or they didn't have these experiences, but that they didn't treat failure as final. Here's another example. Howard Schultz, Starbucks CEO, he grew up in a housing complex for the poor in Brooklyn. His father was a truck driver with no job security, no health benefits. Howard Schultz remembers watching his dad come home injured and broken. That memory, that pain became fuel. He said, I saw what it was like to be treated as a commodity. I wanted to build a company that valued people. He was not supposed to become a CEO, but he let go of the idea that his background defined his future. And this is also true with my own experience as well. My father came from a very poor family, if I have to say. If he was alive today, he would be angry on me saying this, that he comes from a poor family. But he did come. But he never showed one nuance of his opportunities that he never got while growing up. And he always was smiling, always carrying an optimism in his attitude, which I'm still surprised that how someone can do that. I guess dads have superpower. Mine definitely had. Let me come back on track now. Now, let's come back to you. Maybe you're not dreaming of launching Starbucks, or maybe you're not trying to be Oprah Winfrey. Maybe your dream is quite a quite different career. Maybe your aim is a creative leap or a simpler life, maybe a second chance. But something holds you back, and more often than not, it is not your skills, not your resources, it's your loyalty to your old story. Let me hear that again with you. It's your loyalty to your old story. Now, let me ask you a few more things. Who taught you that struggle is equal to honor? Who said you have to be where you are, where you started? Who made you believe that you failed once, it defines you forever? You did not come into this world with those thoughts. They were passed down to you, some out of love, some out of fear. But you get to choose whether you keep carrying them forever throughout your life. Just like a suitcase, with not clothes here, but with whatever the society has given to you as a legacy. You want to keep them in your suitcase. That's the question where I'm coming at. So what now? What do you actually do when you feel stuck? Now, following our 3 very grounded steps, very realistic ones. They are not empty motivational steps here, but something for you to take on and follow. And things will only change if you take action. But anyway, let me come down to these 3 steps. Number 1, you name this voice. That thought telling you you are not ready, who is it? Is it your mom's? Is it your teachers? Is it your societies? Who is it? Where is it coming from? I want you to name that voice. By doing so, you will start separating your truth from your programming that has conditioned you so far. Step number 2, I want you to scan your environment. Jim Rohn once said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Maybe you have heard this many a times, but this does work, right? Who are those 5 people around you? Are they dreamers or doubters? Are they supporters or silencers? You don't need to cut people off, of course. This is not what I'm saying. But you do need to protect your energy like it's currency. So scan your environment. So that's your step 2. Step 3, make one new move, even if it is small, but it has to be disruptive. It needs to shake you. So apply for something that you haven't applied for, something that you always believed is out of your distance, something out of your domain, but you always felt like doing that. Apply for something. Say something you have never had the courage to say. Start learning that thing you have buried for years. Change doesn't come from clarity, it comes from motion. It comes from action. Now, people who know me, and I've done this in my previous broadcasts as well, know that I was a cricketer. It was very difficult for me at the age of 21 to come to terms that I won't be able to play cricket any further. There was family around me who supported me. There were people around me who loved me, who supported me. But eventually it all came down to me, how I took that particular experience of literally spending 80 to 90% of my life until the age of 21 playing cricket and not having to play cricket. So my world entirely sort of broke in front of me. But I continued learning, and I gave a lot of emphasis on education, which did help me, because curiosity made me understand what my potentials are. And even coming down to this podcast today, it is something that I've always wanted to do. I wanted to go and come on a mic and share with people these stories that could help them in their daily lives. This was my calling, and this is my calling. And I am able to realize and come to terms after all these experiences that personally I've had. I'm sure you will have had some great experiences in your life as well, something that really sort of shook you off. But but take those in your stride. You don't want to live on those auto tunes forever. So before I close, I want you to know this: there's no perfect timing, there's no permission which is going to come from anywhere else, from the sky. And yes, people in your life might not understand your next move that you're going to take, but you don't need everyone to understand you. What I'm doing today was not something that I took an approval of from someone. I did it. So I want you to believe in you, because your past is just a chapter, not your entire book. So who would you be if you let go of the version of you that only exists to keep the peace? That's a question. Of the belief that you are too old, too late, too far behind. You are never. What if you believe for just one day that the story could change? Because it can change, and it can change now. It already is, if you're willing to turn the page. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rachit Kapoor, and this was the song I sang. And maybe today, it's you who sings your own song.